Sharon Saccone. I'm a mixed media artist and educator, and I want to welcome you to this episode of Monday Marks. Today, I'm going to encourage you to go a little bit deeper into your art practice and take the idea of a black and white drawing, a full-scale collage in color. If you've missed a few of my episodes, you might want to just take a little peek and see how I use Notan, a drawing done in just two values of black and white to create balance in a work of art. I took that drawing, actually I started a grid drawing, and I took that a little bit farther. And then today I'm using that as a jumping off point for my own full color collage. I used a viewfinder to figure out exactly which part of my overall design did I want to use for my composition. Then, using just black and white and a full scale of value in color, I turned that into a finished collage. It's a great exercise in paring down and then scaling back up again. And when you pare down to the absolute minimal of your image, it really creates something that is truly abstract. Then by taking it even further and only working from my abstract design, I am working in color and abstracting even further. It still has a hearkening to my original idea, which were flowers in a garden. But that's what abstract art really is. It's taking something and distilling it down to some of the bare minimum. But then I ramped it back up again with color and a little bit more pattern and texture. And then I softened a couple areas using some Posca pens. I hope you'll take a look with me as I journey through this exercise because I just love to play with my practice and process. So I hope you'll join me. So this is my original drawing that I had just cropped out with a piece of paper so I could really look at my design. I had chosen a variety of papers in dark, medium, and light so that I have a full range of values. And here I am just freehand cutting. I'm looking at my original design and cutting some of the positive and negative shapes, which is what's really interesting about Notan. So that when you are cutting, you always have both. You have the original shape that you cut out, but you also have the leftover negative space. So you can see I'm kind of using both here, and I'm laying out my design, really thinking about where my dark areas are, where my light areas are, and just adjusting and moving things around, which is the best part about collage. Until you glue something down, nothing is permanent. And even though I planned out my design, as I remove it from my substrate and push it off to the side, as I'm coming back in and actually gluing things down, my design is changing just slightly. I'm still considering different options. I'm still considering different placements so that overall it's a design that I like. And I'm thinking about the balance also not only of values, but where I'm placing my color so that the color goes in different parts of my picture and in different amounts. So I might have more purple in one area, more green in another, more of that pink magenta also in another area. And I just keep adjusting and placing. I'm even cutting some of my pieces up. Once I have my collage ready, this is where I can go and adjust. And I just chose Posca pen because it's just so easy. It's acrylic paint, but in, marker form. So what I liked about it is when I added the white, it didn't really come out white. You can still see some of the layers underneath of color, and I really liked how that looked. But I'm still referring back to my original Notan, coming back in and looking, where do I want to have some of those dark areas? Where do I want to bring in some light areas? And also adjusting my color so that everything feels overall balanced. I definitely have a hard time with white space, and that is something that Notan is going to continue to help me with. I really do tend to strive for more complicated, lots of textures, lots of layers in my images, so it's something to work with. I think you can see as I worked through this process that I went from something that was incredibly simplified to something that was just a little bit more complicated and a little bit more to my taste. And still, I'm thinking about darks and lights, but now I'm using a full range of values in my collage papers, from really light to very dark. And then going back in and refining some of the areas that maybe were just a little too complicated and needed some simplification. So going back to my reference, which was my Notan, and working it out to create something that in the end I'm pretty happy with. But again, this is just an experiment. It's just a matter of playing with an idea. And my original idea that I've been exploring for the past few videos has been the Notan and how that can help me increase my abilities and my thought process in terms of value. If this is something that also appeals to you, I hope that you'll join my bi-weekly newsletter where I give you prompts like this and lots of information and strategies for you to try in your own practice. But if you really want to go deep, I hope you'll join me in my Paste and Paper Playground, a membership for artists where we really go deep into some of these concepts and try to expand our practice and go really far with what we're trying to achieve. So thank you for joining me today, and I hope I'll see you next time at our Make Our Marks Monday.